Okay, sorry, this is part 2 of the Constitution thing. I got cut off because my phone rang and I don't know how to splice these videos together. But anyway, so part 2. Again, we go back to the freedom of press. This is right to have the newspapers and stuff printed without censorship. The freedom of assembly, the right to gather together in a group. We have that freedom of assembling, and I think this is where churches and people right now with this coronavirus are getting concerned a little bit and wondering, how does this relate to the Constitution? And the next thing is we have the right of petition, the right to ask the government to change things. And I found this really interesting. So this is under the First Amendment, all these things. There's 5 rights that are not to be taken from us. Okay, did you catch all those? I'll say them real quick. Let's see. Religion, freedom of speech, newspaper, the freedom of press, the freedom of assembly, and the right to petition. Now, what I thought this was so interesting today because I was talking to the kids and I'm like, we have the right to petition. That is our freedom and that is our right. And so, anyway, I thought, you know what? It's not just the Congress that makes these laws and tries to get them to the president. We are too. We're the people. This is the government of the people for the people. It's not just the people we put in power in these seats, but we the people can come up with ideas and stuff and send them off to the government and ask them to change things. So if you don't like the way things are right now, then you can petition your governor yourself. You can leave a comment. You can even go as far as getting a lawyer and writing a proper petition and stuff like that. But anyway, but I just say use your voice. That's what democracy is for us to be using our voice in times like these. Now, there's also I was on a phone call today with listening into lawyers talk about this freedom of the right to gather together as a group, the freedom of assembly. And one of the guys was saying even there's a federal agency that actually wants us to write in and let them know our views and ideas. And so I thought that was really cool. I tried to look it up. I didn't get that website, couldn't find it, but if I do find it, I'll share it with you guys. But anyway, so I found that interesting. So here I was, we were talking to the kids about it, getting excited about the Bill of Rights and how our founding fathers knew, hey, we're not going to just leave it up, just miscellaneous. We're going to actually spell things out here, that it's necessary. Another amendment they gave us was the Second Amendment. Now, this is in question too lately, and it really shouldn't be. It gives American citizens the right to bear arms. Arms are weapons, or guns, whatever. Under this, it allows us to own guns. This is our freedom. That was established, hundreds of years ago for us. And so these people that are trying to ban guns and all this kind of stuff, you're basically saying, take away my freedom. Okay? Whether you like guns or not, that's not your job to decide. The right is we have the right to have them. And so I want you guys to get back to the Constitution and what it says. We're definitely allowed to have this. Now, whether you want one or not, that's your choice. It's not the government's choice or your state's choice to tell you you can or cannot possess a weapon. So that's protected under the Constitution. So if you didn't know that, it is. But the Third Amendment, it talks about quartering and housing soldiers in private housing, meaning during the war, soldiers were just in the French and Indian War. Again, everything goes to this understanding the U.S. Constitution. Soldiers would just come in the house and live, and they were like, "This is me. This is where I'm going to dwell." No, they're not allowed to do that. And in fact, police officers and other people that want to come in your house, they have to have search warrants. They can't just unrightedly just come in and say, "Oh, this is our place." So we have that freedom of protection. Now, if our land goes into something called the martial law, I think things change a bit there, and we need to be careful about that. I have not studied it, so I don't know, but I remember something about it would be something to consider and understand. I I need to read up on it. But as far as what like police and National Guard or whatever can do in those situations in neighborhoods and so forth and so such. But it's good to expose ourselves back to this knowledge, because this is our land. See, we're living in America. This is our governmental structure. Not every country has this, and we are blessed to have these personal Bill of Rights freedom and the preamble for life, and it's that we can have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's what we were given. God gave us into this land. But when I was listening into the lawyers today, they talked about petitioning your government and just saying, hey, let your voice be heard. Let them know and see what they might do. Because right now, with this coronavirus, they're saying that church in certain places, now remember, state by state is different, in certain counties, or making it harder or less harder depending on what the governor is saying. But so it's not unilateral. It's not, everybody's not doing the same thing here. So you need to know what your state is asking and your county is asking too. But what they said is to petition, because in some places they're saying church is a non-essential. And, in this time, we know as Christians, church is essential. It's our right to gather, and it's a good thing to gather together. But the lawyers were warning, because they're not saying forever a church is closing down. They're just saying because this is a temporal pause, to not be alarmed, not to be over afraid that we'll never get our constitutional freedom back. It's not, at this point, that's not the case we're looking at. Now, if it goes on an extended period of time, there might be a different talking, right? Because things are changing kind of rapidly. But right now, they're just saying, hey, listen, let's just do what's wise, because there are people still dying. There's been a handful of gatherings in social places. There are people have gotten exposed, contracted it, and have passed away. So they're basically saying, just do what we're supposed to be doing, and FaceTime, do internet stuff like that, and being careful, whatever your county and your state is, because it's different nationwide. And so, but like I said, if this thing prolongs too long, then the lawyers are saying, well, we'll have to reconvene and talk about, and I guess people are just afraid that our constitutional freedom is being taken away slowly. But I would hope to think that this is just a temporal health pause, that we can get healthy and get the society back healthy and move forward for this election year. So, but we just take it one day at a time. So anyway, that's how it all went. So here we were studying the Constitution this morning. We're talking about petitioning, and then I'm on the phone call listening to the lawyers, and they said the exact same thing. They're saying, people, we have the right to petition our government to change things. So if you don't like what your county's doing, or you don't like what your governor is saying in these things, then, put a little call out. I know I've tried to call my governor. He's not answering the phone, or the people. I don't know if they're working or not. So they have internet ways to make a comment and stuff like that. So just think about doing that, and, make a comment. Let them know, if they're doing good or not, or, sometimes they just need to be encouraged too, that they're being prayed for. So anyway, keep up the good work and be encouraged that God is on the throne. Ultimately, all government, like we saw in the Daniel prophecy, are going to be destroyed, and Jesus will set up his government, and that time looks like it's coming soon. Definitely sooner than when I was little. Huh? All right, guys, have a blessed night.